Good morning, welcome back to Life of Dave. Back down the boat. It's Sunday morning. That's the 2nd of April. We're going to see what we can get done today. Shoulder's still playing up. I've torn it, I've done something. It's been agony. Weren't too bad yesterday, but today it's killing me. I've had some pills and that this morning. Hot pack on it. It's feeling like it's loosening up a little bit now, so I'm going to see what I can get done, but I've got to really take it easy. Need to rest it and let it heal and get better, really. I'm hoping it'll sort itself out. But basically, yeah, I'm going to have a little look and see what I can get done. I've got some fillering to do, so I might just mix up some filler and put that on and leave the sanding. I've got a little bit of sanding to do. I might see if I can do it with my left hand. But I don't think I'm going to be able to do all of it, especially the upside down stuff. I need 2 hands to hold it up there and get on with that. But I'm going to see what I can get done. I need to keep moving forward, really, and moving on, crack on and get this done so that it gets to the point where I can say, right, the inside's finished, and I can paint it out and fit it out and all the rest of it. So that's the plan anyway. So let's have a look and see what we done last time. Okay, so last time I was down, I managed to get some filler on there. So all this is fresh filler and up to here. So a little bit thin on this area, so we've basically covered this bit. A little bit thin on that edge. This, you know, I run out of filler. It's just got up there what was left, basically. So I've got some on the side there. We've got to shape this up. I didn't go any further than that because that's where I had that little void. Sort of void, like a dry spot on the glass. It was where the 2 seams of glass come together. For some reason there was a little dry spot there and I didn't like the look of it. I'll give it a poke about, and yeah, it was quite soft, so I completely ground it out. It's not right the way through. I think the bottom layer of glass was stuck and the top layer where it must have trapped a little bit of air in between the 2 sheets, basically. Very thick stuff this, so you know, just one of them things. I mean, the light visibility in here and all the rest of it is very hard to see, and when you're trying to deal with cloth that you stick up and it's all trying to sag down and fall down, I'll tell you, it was a nightmare trying to get that up there. It's like, it was hard work, it really was. Probably done it again. I'll use a different cloth. That was too heavy. It soaks up too much resin, gives it too much weight, and yeah, it was a nightmare. And then I was left with this really textured surface. What it really needed was a layer of CSM stuck over it as well. I should have used maybe the normal roving or the biaxial cloth. What I wanted was the biaxial with the CSM on the backing, but I couldn't get any, and I got this and it's a lot heavier, and whilst it done the job, I mean, it's very stiff, it ain't going to flex and move around too much, it's going to be pretty solid, but you know, it was a real nightmare to put up, it really was. So anyway, I had a little void in here which I've completely ground out, and again I can still see I've got a layer of cloth there, so it was the top layer where it overlapped, this bit and there. Everything else I've given it a little dig and it's pretty solid, so I'm not going to take out any more than that. I'm going to clean up what's there and carry on. I've got to still filler this and all of the front and get all this done, so I think I'm going to get on with that today. Heat off for a minute, because that's not going to be my friend whilst I'm mixing filler and laying that up. Any excess heat on it is going to cause it to go off mighty quick, and I don't want that while I'm putting it on. Okay, there we go, so that's mixed, no streaks. Right, I've got a glass there, so I'm going to leave that bit. I can sand it out anyway, it doesn't matter. Leave that area there. Start spreading it on from there. And again, I've got a glass round this edge here into that lip there that I've ground out, so I'm not going to go right to the edges. I just want to get the majority of it covered.
when I've glassed this bit, and then I'll have to sand it and fair it again and all the rest of it at the edges, but at least this will give me most of it done. I've only got to blend it in then. I'll get the majority of it up before it starts warming up, because it will go off quick. It's going on really rough at the moment, just to get it up there, and I'm not left-handed. I'm trying to get it on. Now let's just spread that out and thin it out a bit. Put the thin in the middle there. Make it across. Those spots there. So I doubt this is going to be good enough as a final coat. I think this will probably want a bit more anyway. But like I say, I've still got a bit of glassing to do around here. Finish this edge. So it's going to need fairing again anyway. This is more about just getting a coverage on it. Get that set up. Next time we're down, it can be sanded. I have to buy some more filler as well. Not got a lot left, so I don't want to mix up huge amounts and waste it, you know, have it go off on me. I want to mix up little amounts and spread it out and make sure I use it all. Now, I don't want to be mixing it up and it goes off before I can use it, and I've got to throw it away because that's wasteful. Well, that is that. We are done now. It's starting to cheese up there. Even scraping that off, so roughing that edge. That'll sand out next time. Fine. Oh, there we go. So that's that area covered. Like I said, I've not gone up to this edge because I've still got to glass that. So I'm going to end up having to sand or grind back into that to make sure I can tuck my glass in so that it comes out level with this surface. So I need this lower than that so that I can do that, so the two halves don't give me another seam there. You know, these bits here where I've ground out, I need a little bit of filler in there to lose the edges. so that when I glass over it there's no voids. Go into that bit where I ground the void out so that it's covered, so there's no little holes in it and whatnot, because otherwise if I try glassing it again it will just be more voids. So if I cover it with filler and sand back to it to clear it out, give me a clean edge, and then I can re-glass it, sealing that in then. That bit and that bit. A little white over there. Bad. Just dragging a line through that bit there. Get rid of it. Better. Right, so we'll have to sand back into that quite hard, but it's alright. It's a little bit rough. I'm not left-handed at all. But my right one's just hurting too much to do anything with. So I'm just resting that at the moment. I'll get a bit of filler over that. I've got to fill that area where that void was actually. Just a little smear. I was sand most of that back. I just want to make sure it's smooth. When it comes to sanding it and to glass it, I want to make sure there's no voids in it. This is going to start going off pretty quick. Wearing me working time. There's still a bit there I can use some. Yeah, I'll use it up there. So this stuff's pretty much going off now, so it's set. It's still tacky, but it's set. It's a bit like hot coating. I could whack a little bit more over it in areas that needs it, without it moving and pulling the old stuff off like the first layer. Yeah, it's hard enough now that it's not moving, it's still tacky. But that has gone off to a point where you can't do anything with it. I've not got enough filler here to put on the other side where I was thinking, so I might as well use it up here. If I stick it on the other side, there's not enough to do what I wanted, so what I'll end up doing is putting it on there, then I'll have to sand it before I can put some more on. And that'll just mean more sanding and getting nowhere. So. Right, so we've managed to fare that in. So all the bare glass that I sanded last time should now be filler. The only thing left is to take care of is this. Well, there we go. So that's all the filler on. We've got nice coverage over there. I've buttered it on a little bit thicker on that front section. Again, I'll be sanding most of it off. I mean, I don't want a thick build up, but it just seemed easier to butter it on. And then we can sand it down after, get it to shape. I want to make sure it's all covered, and I've not got to do it twice if I have to, I've got a couple of areas here, and a little bit in the middle there, where there was voids that I ground out. So I've fillered over them, because from there to there, there's a little edge there. So if I glass that, that will just give me another little void. So I'll filler them. So what I can do now is I can glass into that, and I'll just CSM over this whole front end. I was going to CSM down here as well anyway. So whilst I'm doing that, I'll just go over that whole front end and cover that in. I've got to CSM this, so I might as well just seal that whole front section with a bit of CSM over the top as well. So all that filler will then be covered in with a bit of CSM. And then we'll have to put a bit of fairing compound over that as well, to lose the lines on that. Sand it all down and it's ready for gel coat. But that should be relatively easy. It's quite a small area, so hopefully we can do that and get that done. And what I'll probably do is I'll tackle it small area at a time, rather than trying to do the whole lot and then find out, oh no, that ain't gone right. And you're trying to spread yourself thin, and then you end up rushing to try and get it all on before it goes off. Not good. If I can do a little bit at a time, so that I get that bit, each bit right, hopefully I think that'll work out better. I took off some of this last time I was down here. I've still got these edge bits. This needs taking back a bit more, so that when I glass this, I'm not going over that. This is going to be cut out. I've got my hatch to go in here, so most of this is going to go back to the edge anyway. But I need to just make sure that the glass is stuck and wrapped around initially, before I cut it out. That's the plan anyway. Right, now I might mix up some resin and just give this wood a little coat as well while I'm out. Can't even lift me arm to do that. So right, the left-handed brush in there. I just want to coat the wood. Obviously I'm going to coat all the rest of it as well. Anything that's brushable will be coated in the brushing area. But it'll be sanded again, surprise surprise, before we do any more. I'll make sure that wood's got a bit of resin soaked into it. Everything else is going to have a bit of resin soaked into it. mix up a tiny amount of resin here, but it's still going to be too much for what I need really. Let that soak in for a bit. Keep an eye on it. If it starts drying in before this resin's gone off, I'll put a little bit more on. Don't think it will, but we'll keep an eye on it. Right, not really a lot more I can do now, other than sanding, and like I say, it's getting late now, I'll be off in a mo. I don't feel like sanding today. I'm going to give that a miss, I think. That's going to aggravate my shoulder, and it already hurts, so yeah. About that for today really, I think. Right, well, we've managed to do a bit of fairing. I've got a lot of sanding to do next time I'm down, but once that's done, that's, you know, a massive chunk finish. It really is. I've got to sand this down quite hard so that I can wrap it in glass and get another layer of fairing over it. So that's going to take quite a bit of work to take that down. So I've got a glass, well, I haven't got to, but I want to glass this area here, along there and up there, and tie all this front in with that. So to do that, it's you know, got to put another layer of glass on there, another build up that I don't really want too much, you know what I mean? So I will have to take that down quite a lot, back to almost the glass, but I've just filled all the imperfections so that I can glass that round and I've got no voids then. But yeah, a lot of sanding. Right, let's knock that off there for now.